this day has come to a conclusion, and it's July 13th, 2024. A lot has happened today, and as many of you know, a great tragedy took place today in America. One of our former president, Donald Trump, was shot. He was almost fatally killed. And if it wasn't but for God's protection, I think he would have been. And it is a serious time in America. And it's been a busy day for me, but I just wanted to pop on here, give a quick little update. The day just started out crazy. We had a farmer's market this morning, and I always sell plants with our family business at the farmer's market. So that went fairly well. Busy for the most part, but this afternoon I knew I had to bale hay, and there's a lot more hay there than I was anticipating. I think I did about 4 to 5 wagons. Yeah, four and a half wagons over the last couple days, and basically 2 or 3 of those I baled by myself. I had help for a couple of them, but it was a rigorous job doing that all. And I'm sure some of you out there can relate how baling hay by yourself is not fun, but it has to happen. And I knew the rain was coming tonight, and it sure came down. It was pouring buckets out there. I mean, the lightning was stretching out across the sky, and it's still out there tonight. I was hoping to do my live outside in the rain or near the rain, but it's crazy. All that has taken place today, and as I was out in the field bemoaning the fact that, man, I'm out here, I don't know if I can get this done. I was tired. I was working by myself. I was filling the wagon and stacking the hay bales, going back and forth. And I realized, you know what? I can be happy and do my work because there's a lot of other people out there that have it worse than me. And it really wasn't that big of a moment, but I just thought, you know what? There's a lot of people out in this world that have it a lot worse than I do. And just after I had that thought, you know what? I'm going to have a smile as I'm working. I got the news as I was going back to the wagon, I think, to stack some hay, that President Trump had been shot. And I'm like, wow, that just shocked me. I was taken aback. I pulled up the news articles, searched for it to see if that was actually what was taking place. And it shocked me. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. This is actually happening. President Trump shot. And that shocked me. You may agree with him. You may disagree with him. That's not the point. Just that a former president of the United States in my lifetime was shot. And I looked it up, realized, well, praise the Lord, he's safe. I mean, that bullet hit him. He came near to death. And as I was baling hay, I just stopped right there. I kneeled down and I just thanked the Lord for his protection upon our former president's life. I wouldn't want that for anyone. And I just was shook up a little bit, like, wow, this is really happening. And it just made me realize that we need God's help and God's guidance. And I was out baling hay by myself. It was hot. It was humid. I was sweaty. There was a lot going on today by myself in the field. I knew that the hay had to be done. But in the midst of that, I realized, you know, I can be joyful. There's other people out in this world that have a lot worse than I do. And then I get the news about our former president. And it just made me realize how thankful I need to be. And life is short. We need to be ready at any moment to die. And we need to be praying for our leaders, be praying for our country, because our country needs to turn back to God. And some of you may be in other countries. you know what, every person, every leader needs God. And as I had my AirPods in, I was able to block out the noise of the tractor, but also listen to the news of what was happening throughout the day. I was just in a spirit of prayer and just shock of what was taking place. So I just wanted to pop on, and I got all the hay in. That was a blessing. I was like, Lord, help me to get all this hay in before the rain comes. I just looked at the radar, I pulled it up, and I just saw a wall of yellow clouds, or yellow rain, whatever, popping up on the radar. And I saw it coming through. I'm like, oh boy, I better get this hay in. And the Lord helped me get all the hay in. I had to bale some on the ground because I didn't have enough wagon space. And so I had to go back and pick up that hay. And I'll read the comments here in a little bit, but I had to get out there. It was about 8:30. The rain, I could see the rain coming in. I mean, the lightning in the western sky and northwestern sky was coming in. And so I was hurrying. I had our flatbed truck. I was buzzing around the field. And a friend happened to be coming by right at that exact time, and he saw me out in the field. So I was listening to the news on my AirPods, and I didn't see him coming up. And I like screamed because he scared me. Anyway, just a funny story from the day. But he helped me get the last few bales. He actually drove the truck back to the farm. I drove the tractor back to the nursery, parked the baler, parked the tractor, parked the truck in our lean-to. I had backed the 3 wagons underneath the canopy. The 4th wagon I actually had to cover with a tarp, but it all got in before the rain came. So that was a blessing. Got that all done. So anyway, I know I talked about a lot of different things, but the work of a farmer sometimes seems like it's never over. But when you finish the jobs for the day, it's a huge blessing. You're relieved. Yeah, that is for sure, Philip. It was a miracle that he is alive. Seriously, it just is unbelievable. Is that Reiner? Hello. And do you agree with the gun laws in the United States? Well, I agree with the Second Amendment that all of American citizens have a right to keep and to bear arms. Yapology 101. How to microwave. I'm not sure what that's. But what's my take on them? Well, any laws that violate the Constitution of the United States should be rewritten. The Constitution is the law of the land. Every citizen of the every citizen should be legal, but every citizen should have that right to keep and to bear arms, as the Second Amendment states. It's a right that not many countries have, not many citizens have of other countries, so I'm thankful for that. I won't stay on much longer, but if you have anything to say about the day today, feel free to drop those comments in the chats. I'm going to be uploading some videos. I haven't really had time because I do landscaping. I also work with my church a lot. So between that, landscaping, and farming, I don't have a lot of spare time, but I try to make time for making these videos, getting some more content out there. There's some good content, I think, that'll be coming your way. Maybe some entertaining things, some machinery breaking down, some mistakes I made. It's always fun to read the suggestions in the chats. Sometimes people make comments like, hey, you didn't do this, or you didn't do that, or they criticize. I don't care. That's all great. It's all fun. Can we get much higher? What do you mean by that? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Bashira. Anyway, in honor of our former president, I might be making some enemies on this stream. That's all right. You know, if someone's willing to fight for freedom, fight for liberty, fight for the values that made this nation great, I'm willing to stand for them, especially if they're willing to risk their life to preserve this country and to get us back to those many of those founding principles. Our former president Trump is not a perfect man, but he is one of the few people that has stood for the rights of the American citizen. So anyway, I know I've gone on long enough. It's been just over 10 minutes, but just to recap of what took place, it's been a crazy day. Started the day off just around 6 a.m., went to the farmer's market, came back, baled some hay. Oh, one thing I forgot, baled hay, but I literally ran out of string, and I knew I was getting low, so I was keeping an eye on it. I had to go get some more, but they didn't have it at TSC. I normally get it from the John Deere dealer. So I went to check. They didn't have it. So I'm like, well, I'll bale a little bit more. So I baled a little bit more, and I literally had the string fed through, the end of the string fed through the baler, and I had just a little bit left. And thankfully that was the last bale that I was baling on that part of the field. And I stopped, checked the twine, and realized, wow, I don't have any twine left. And I almost had to rethread the knot. I'm sure some of you all have had to do that before. Rethreading the twine is not fun. It's not too hard, but it's just not fun to deal with that. So thankfully I called up the John Deere guy that I know, Twinkles at Proven Power. He's a great guy to work with, but they're closed on Saturdays. I'm like, hey, I'll give it a shot. Maybe they're there. Maybe they can help me out. I need twine. And called him up. He was there getting ready for the fairs coming up. He said, yeah, come on over, grab some twine. So that was a great blessing that I got some twine and I was able to finish the fields, because otherwise I would have been stuck. So anyway, so yeah, I got the twine rolls in, thankfully, and I got some help with one of the wagons today, but one guy went to go laser tagging. Another guy was getting really tired. My nephew Matt, the Real Farm Dudes, you can follow their channel, The Real Farm Dudes. He did help me rake 2 small fields, so that was great. I had little help here, a little help there, but the majority of the work I had to take on my shoulders of baling all the hay, getting things organized. So I spent about 6.5 hours, 7 hours baling hay, getting it put away. It was tiring, but I'm glad it's all done. And normally I don't like to put myself in a pickle of having to run around, not having help to get the hay in. Any of you farmers out there, I'm sure you can relate to not getting enough help when you need it. It seems like the help disappears and finds other things to do as soon as you need help, especially baling hay. I normally can get help, but not today. But thankfully, we were able to get all the hay in, and that was great. So anyway, so yeah, I basically finished that up, and literally the rain started pouring down just as I turned off the tractor. So that was a blessing. But just wanted to pop on here and give you a live look at the life of a farmer. And now I'm finished, cleaned up, had my Culver's concrete cooler, I think that's what they call them, the raspberry mango lemon ice mixed with a little custard. Those are amazing. If you've never had one of those, try getting one of them from Culver's. But I just wanted to get on here, show a little patriotism, let freedom ring, and just thankful for God's protection upon our President Trump. And literally that's a miracle that he's alive. And I'm just thankful that we have a fighter, someone who's willing to stand up for this country. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. I only see a few comments, but glad you all could tune in. Thanks for watching, and be in prayer for our country. Work hard, stay at it. When the going gets tough, keep going. And like I was saying today, you know, you might be going through rough times. Everyone does. But just remember, there's probably someone going through a rougher time than you. And I know that may not be super comforting, but other people have gone through rough times in the past, and we don't always know why. And I really wasn't going through a rough time today, just inconvenience. But it just made me think, you know what? God has a purpose and plan for everything. And then when I just realized, you know what I'm going through right now, the pain of working by myself, sweating on a hot day, stacking hay, baling hay, driving the tractor, it's really not that much. And we got to keep a smile on our face. But then when I heard, just a couple minutes after that, a couple seconds after I had that thought about President Trump, that just really was shocking. But to know that God protected him, and there's a purpose and plan that God has for him and for each one of us. So anyway, keep that in mind. Just that God has a plan and a purpose for our life. We need to be seeking the Lord as a country. And this is just maybe a little challenge for all of us to seek the Lord and to trust his purpose and his plan, and realize we're in a battle. That's the other side of it. We are in a battle, and Satan wants to discourage us in that battle, but God wants us to keep going on and to press forward, not give up, not give in, but have faith in him. So I know that this stream has maybe been a little bit of a mix of many different things, including a few stories of the farm life today, but just a reminder that we're all frail human flesh, and we need to put our trust in God and in God alone. Thanks for tuning in, Benny, and glad you all could tune in and watch a little bit of this live stream from Farmer Muck. I'm MicahMan, and thanks for tuning in. I'll try to get some videos out in the next few days here for you all, and it's always great to see people viewing the content, and I hope it'll be fun for you all, enjoyable, entertaining, maybe bring back memories of the past. If there's any suggestions you have of videos to make, let me know. I mainly do hay farming, but we also have some cows. We have one milk cow right now that just gave birth to a baby calf, actually at 4 p.m. this afternoon. And then we have some pigs as well. We've got lots of chickens. My dad does a lot with the chickens and the cows and the pigs. I help him out, though, with the feeding them and everything. So those are just a few of the things that we do here on the farm, and I'll try to post a few more videos about those things probably once the hay season is slowed down a little bit. So take care, God bless, and we'll see you in the next video. Adios.